Yeah, I guess it was a pretty intense moment for everyone. And then we got our Dominoes and went home. Hi, we're the Mysterines and this is our track by track for Enemy for our new album, Reeling.
Life is a bitch, but I like it so much. Sin is desire for when the bad becomes good. Good, good, bad, bad, it's always the same. I'm sick of wasting away and always taking the blame.
Life's a Bitch was written in lockdown. The title came from like a conversation I overheard in a pub just before lockdown. And then I took the phrase and changed it to Life's a Bitch, but I like it so much.
It was the first song I heard out of like all the demos for the album. It was like the first one I heard like throughout the whole process, and I think for me it always felt like it would be a good opener for the album. It always just kind of made sense that it would be there. I don't know whether it was because I heard it first or whatever.
I don't think there was anything directly that initially influenced it, but I suppose, you know, when people listen to it, they draw some pretty similar comparisons to, you know, what could have influenced it. And I think as we took it to the studio, that's probably when we started thinking about direct influences for that song.
It was more of like a production thing, wasn't it? We kind of knew that this kind of production style that we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think people probably, well, we kind of wanted to go for like that Queen of the Stone Age kind of thing. So I think, and people have been kind of comparing the new stuff to that, so I think that was kind of like, but there's loads of influences throughout the album, but I think that kind of came later on. Once we kind of had all the songs, we kind of knew where we wanted to take them all then.
Hung Up was written around a similar time, so again in lockdown. And it's weird because like these songs were written on acoustic because we couldn't really get any other equipment during lockdown. So when you like write it in that sense, they sound so different. So when we were taking them to the studio, I guess that's where they sort of came to life.
When we jammed that for the first time, that kind of felt like, it kind of got me excited for it. I think it kind of, I remember jamming it, we were jamming it in the Coral Cave, and it just kind of started, it felt with Hung Up, it kind of made everything kind of come together a bit more. Don't know, it just kind of, it just worked dead quickly, it just kind of happened. And I think you and Callum kind of had like you already had the structure and stuff like that when you came into the practice room, so that was like a dead easy kind of song to put together. It kind of just worked straight off the bat.
I think when we first started writing Hung Up, I knew that it would be either the first single or definitely one of the earlier ones, probably just because it sounds like similar to the early stuff that we released, but yeah, we don't really think about things too much. I don't think.
As you can probably tell. It was weird actually, because when we had all these ideas for it, when we were just jamming it in the room, and then when we got to this, because we did the album live, because we wanted to do like all these crazy overdubs and stuff, it was really weird because the more we added to it, it just didn't really do anything to the song. So that song in particular, quite a lot of the album is in a similar vein, but Hung Up in particular is very much just the live take, and then with a vocal take over the top. But there was like loads of stuff that we added to it, and then eventually we were just like, it's not actually adding anything to the song, so it's pure just us in a room. Just
yeah, we were originally going to do Hung Up on a violin.
Yeah, and a xylophone.
Sounded good, that version. We might release it one day.
Deluxe album.
Yeah. I think when I wrote Reeling, I think it was like the first song that I sort of completed straight away from like when I started it, and I made some like weird demo. I think I sent it to you first.
Yeah.
Which actually probably wasn't, like, it sounded like a xylophone almost.
It's like when compared to like how the song actually ended up, it sounds nothing like it. Like it's obviously it's got like the same melody and whatever, but there's like, I think it's on like an organ, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd watched a film called Santa Sangre. There's this like circus theme throughout the film, and I sort of wanted that sound on the demo. It's probably like the song I enjoy playing the most.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favourites. Like, I think it's just, it kind of it's just everything that we think, like, well, I think the Mysterines is just like at the moment, or like for the first album anyway, what we were at that particular point, I think it sums it up really well.
It made sense for it to be the title track as well, I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Mysteries with all friends die hard. Nick Asnet, Sonny Jim, all friends die hard. Frankie Angel, be my Carney, be my baby, Molly.
It was like a play on old habits, Die Hard, and sort of like made into not like a murder ballad, because it's not a ballad, but like a
Made a hit.
Yeah, murder hit. It's sort of just like a story about a character that kills this guy called Frankie. Yeah, it was quite fun to write that, I guess. I think we just
It's not murder. It's quite fun to write about.
we just like needed to have a sort of humorous side on the record, and like for it not to be taken so seriously. And I think Old Friends Die Hard does that.
It was one of the first songs when I joined. It was one of the probably the first new song that you ever showed me.
Oh really?
'Cause there was like a demo of it where it was just you on guitar, remember? And then it got,
Oh yeah.
and then it was full band, and then
Yeah, I remember
there was
actually.
the demo process with Ben.
Yeah, I actually got one of my favourite like writers. It's called Nick Power, and I sent him Old Friends Die Hard, like the words to it, because I knew like his writing style was pretty similar, and I got him to help me on the second verse and get like a male perspective on it as well. So that was pretty fun to have him on it.
It kind of came to life as well in the when we were doing the demo, because me and you were just fueled on red wine, so we just kind of went through like a weird rabbit hole with it.
I think we put some weird stuff on it.
That's where
I think we did that with most of the demos.
That's where the thing came from, the
whistle.
The whistle as well, and
the whistle was George, wasn't it? Because like he whistled.
We were playing it back, and then George whistled, and then we were like, "That's good."
Yeah. But we thought he was doing it over the track, but he was just whistling away like he always does.
And then
he's the whistler of the band.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Mysterines thing.
Yeah.
That was just like.
Yeah.
I was just being
That was
annoying.
just red wine. That wasn't
and then
it?
Ben was just like, "We can't put that on," and then we were like, "No, let's do it." And I think because you wanted this to be funny in a way. Well.
Yeah, it just made sense to have some sort of weird, like, I don't know.
The weirder,
ring.
the better with that song, I thought.
It's such a danger, it's such a danger, oh, it's such a dangerous thing. It's such a danger, it's such a danger.
I think people have really enjoyed Dangerous so far. That was one that we definitely wanted to release. When we recorded it, I think we knew that it was going to be sort of the one to sort of give another perspective to the band that isn't just all like heavy guitars and whatever, but I think it just offers a different sound that I suppose maybe people wouldn't really associate with us. And there's a few tracks on the album that, you know, we're looking forward to people hearing, because it isn't all, you know, I'm not screaming the whole time.
I think that's why I like where it is in the album, because it kind of like introduces like the other side to the album pretty well, and it's fairly early on in the track list as well. I think it's a bit slower, it's a bit more chilled out than usual.
That was in lockdown as well. That was after I watched a film called Badlands. That was around summertime, so it's sort of got like a summery feeling to the song, I guess. Again, it's just got a different sound that I don't think people would expect to hear on the record, but it fits in nicely.
It's one that we kind of forget about as well. I always, not in the fact that I don't like it or whatever, it's just because we did this, because the way we recorded the album, we did it all, we started in like, was that like July, was it? In 2020 or whatever, so that was like one of the first songs we did. And then whenever I heard it, I was like, oh, forgot about that. I love that tune. I'm looking forward to people to hearing that one.
Yeah, we're looking forward to playing it as well. We've not played
Yeah.
on the run yet.
Yeah.
So when we do our tour in March, or is it March?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do our tour in March. We're gonna like play, well, the whole album because that's what's coming out in March. Yeah, so we're looking forward to playing that.
Under your skin, under your skin, under your skin.
That was pretty fun as well.
Yeah.
That was a demo. Was that a demo that demo went a bit weird as well, didn't it? I guess.
So the demo for that was kind of, when I heard it, was pretty much the way it is now, but just there was no drums at the end. So when we took it into the studio, it was kind of just because the demo was amazing. And I think it was just a case of how can we make it bigger and better and whatever. So there was one point where we were all just in a room just humming.
Yeah.
It took a while to get there, like, but yeah, it's a pretty dark song actually. Thinking of
Yeah.
it. But yeah, that was one that kind of came to life a bit more in the studio because it was hard to kind of you can't really do that live because of the way it's very like. how can you
There's lots of
describe?
different sounds in it.
Yeah. When I first heard, I always thought it would be like the end of the album, but then obviously it never ended. But it's a good end to the first side of the vinyl. I think kind
Sort of
makes
like
sense.
confession songs, like Evil Twin Sisters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or Less Evil, maybe.
Yeah.
Bad Thing was written. That was before you were in the band, wasn't it? Actually.
It was the first song I kind of remember like song that I hadn't heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first new song that you kind of showed me.
Yeah. I can't actually remember writing it. It was that long ago. But I think it was just written how most of the songs are written, and we didn't do it with we didn't want to release it with the previous lineup of the band, and I knew that it was definitely going more in a direction towards something that could be on an album.
When you showed it to me, it was just because there's kind of like two halves to it, isn't there? There's like the intro, which is like the
Yeah.
poem and stuff, and then there's like when it kind of like all kicks in at like I don't know how far, it's like 2 minutes in or whatever. I remember you coming in with like the intro riff, in
yeah.
7, and then we were like, oh, that'd be cool if we could like combine
put them
it all.
together.
So that was like the first song I think that I kind of remember as the four of us.
Yeah.
The first one that we kind of put together. We've been playing that for ages, like.
Yeah. That's
So-
probably the longest song we've been playing as a 4-piece, is The Bad Thing.
Weirdly enough, it was probably one of the last songs that we recorded for the album.
I think it was the last song to be written for the album.
You only showed it to us like I think about a few weeks before we went to finish the album,
Yeah.
and I think it was a good idea to kind of release it like the first single off the album because it kind of still has that like what the Mysterines were before the album, then can kind of see where it's kind of going at the same time. Yeah, I don't know, but it was, again, it probably came together fairly easy. You kind of had like the structure kind of done really. It was just,
Yeah.
and then again we just went on a mad rabbit hole with the demo and just
Yeah. A lot of the record was sort of me bringing in demos and like the four of us exploring how far we could take the songs and sort of seeing how to experiment with different things and, not go too far, but sort of,
sometimes we would, and then we go to the studio, and then Catherine Marks, who produced the album, she'd be like, yeah, let's get rid of that.
That's why we've not brought out the xylophone version of Hung Up.
There's always time though, album 2.
Yeah. That was in lockdown as well. It was sort of writing the record as it went on, I guess, because the recording was so split up, and we did a week in July and then we did a week in November. Was that 2020?
Yeah.
And then we did a week in March 2021, and that's when we finished the record. The record was sort of being written slowly over that. So a lot of them were written in lockdown. Means the Bleed being one of them. I suppose we had a lot of time to listen to the record, which it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it wasn't a great thing either, because we just sort of
lost the plot.
Yeah, definitely. When you've got so much time to think about what you've done, it's sort of like being in a prison cell, really, isn't it? I guess.
And I think we've said this before, but like because the time that it was recorded in lockdown, there was literally nothing else you could do. So there was no like, we couldn't like go to the studio and then go to the pub and take our mind off it. It was like literally go to the studio and then go home, and then. So I think, and also even when we went back to Liverpool or New Brighton or whatever, we were just like obsessing over the album the whole time. So I think we were all kind of slightly overwhelmed by the process at certain points. But I think you can hear that in the album, which I like about it. I don't know whether people would get onto that.
I think you can hear the songs which were done first.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
then the ones that were sort of written later on, or sort of we decided were even going to be on the record.
Because I think that the recording process changed, because it started off, especially with the first few tunes, which was, I remember Reeling was actually the first song we recorded. Catherine was very much like, no, you know what you're doing. I'll just sit back for now and let you kind of do what you feel is necessary. And then as it went on, it kind of, she was there to intervene when we all needed it.
Needed our heads screwed back on.
Yeah.
All these things that I've done, on and on and on. All these things that I've done.
That was one of the last songs to be written for the record. It sort of just came out of nowhere, really, because I think we thought the record was finished. And again, we just sort of wrote it. Me and Callum sat down with an acoustic, and it just sort of come out of nowhere. I was sort of against it being on the record, but once Catherine heard it, the producer, she was like, definitely needs to be on there. It's probably a least favourite. However, I think it's definitely necessary. And after, again, like coming away from listening to the song so much and listening back now, I suppose I do actually quite like it.
Yeah, I like it. It's definitely the happiest song on the album, which isn't hard, to be honest, because they're all pretty dark.
Still call you home, still call you mine, still call you babe, still call you anytime you need to be saved, still call you Jesus.
I think I wrote Still Call You Home when I was like 17, way before I was even contemplating writing a full record, or before I'd even say the Mysterines were a consolidated band, I guess. I guess it's probably one of the most honest songs on the album, and it's the one with the band in it, and it was just a live vocal take, acoustic take.
The way it was recorded was pretty
Off the cuff, I guess, wasn't it?
pretty special, I thought, just because Catherine we couldn't hear what, it was just Catherine and Leah in the room together, and we couldn't hear what they were saying or anything. I think it was just one mic, really, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah, it was one mic recording
it was
the vocal and the guitar.
yeah. I just loved the way it was recorded. I think it was the only way to record that song, I thought. I don't think it would have worked if you'd have, done all these crazy overdubs and strings or whatever. I think you could have gone like that way, but I think just the guitar and the vocal, it was just like, it was probably my favourite moment in the studio, hearing Leah record that. And I have no involvement in it, so maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much.
You got a break.
Yeah, I got a break. I could have a cup of tea, but
it was a pretty intimate moment as well between me and Catherine, in terms of, what we were talking about when we were in the recording room together and stuff, and just where we both seemed to be at that point in our lives matched up to the song in a way. And yeah, I guess it was a pretty intense moment for everyone. And then we got a Domino's and went home. I think I wrote that when I was around the same time as Still Call You Home, actually. But again, that sounds so different to the demo. Demo's a lot faster.
Well, the demo originally was just you and guitar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone went home. It was just me, you, and Ben Harper who did some of the demos with us. And I think again, I think we were annoying him, to be honest, because we were just pissed up.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of went on this mad. The second demo is bizarre.
Yeah. I think we were listening to a lot of Tom Waits around then.
Yeah, because we were the original idea was just kind of get like weird drums.
Yeah.
And then I started playing the beat, and Ben was like,
Yeah.
"That's cool, keep that in."
We were just doing like, got to a point where like Ben set these mics up, and me and Paul were just like walking around the room like.
It's like screaming,
like hitting the wall and like
opening the door and closing it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And me and you loved the demo. We were like, it's
yeah,
amazing,
we were really
it's
attached to
amazing.
the demo of that.
And then
everyone hated it. Everyone. They didn't want that song on the record. But now it's sort of like, we're glad that it's on there because it sort of completes the record and sort of what we wanted to achieve with it, I guess.